Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video we are having a look at depression. So firstly, we're going to walk a more in-depth process in terms of understanding, what it is about the experience of depression that completely overwhelms you, your mind, and your body to such an extent that you lose yourself within it, and so completely through that experience can create a particular line of thinking and even more emotional experience stemming from the depression experience, and create for yourself in that way a new mind, if you will. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's take a look. All right. If you have a look at this being your head, okay. Now, before the depression experience came up within you and started almost creeping up from the back of your mind into your thoughts, into your emotions, into your behavior, all right, you had a particular way of thinking, all right, a particular way of, right, this representing your head region, but your emotional and feeling experiences coming up. And within that, you had a particular mind, all right? So let's call it your mind before depression took over. Your mind before, you were looking at yourself, looking at others, looking at life, and not only looking, and what I mean by looking is thinking about things in a particular light, in a particular way, and accordingly you had particular emotional and feeling responses, right? So within that, your mind before was very much aligned within specific thoughts, specific emotions, and specific feelings. Okay, now depression came. The moment depression started taking over, what is interesting in relation to what depression does is, here, looking at the feelings and the emotions, depression has one strand of emotional energy only. There's no feeling energy that manifests within your depression state, your depression experience and condition. So now you're dealing purely only with emotional energy. And not only that, but depression is actually an extension of various different emotional experiences that kind of came together, united forces, and started moving, infiltrating, and channeling itself into your mind, your self-experience, and your physical body. So these energies created a complete takeover of your mind and so of yourself. Then from there, what started happening is your thinking started changing. And the moment your thinking started changing or starts changing, so you overall in everything that you do inside yourself, through your body, in your outside world, starts changing. All right, so this is then the mind after. So, as you can see, there's quite a difference between the two minds and the mind that depression creates. And this is what I was meaning in the beginning of the interview, that you can, through depression, create a completely new mind, and through that, you create a completely different self. And it's interesting because a lot of the dynamics between thoughts and emotions is not understood when it comes to depression. Obviously, an interesting question that we have to ask ourselves is, what is it about depression that can almost create a completely different mind with thoughts and emotions only? It's actually a lot more simple than your mind before. If you look at your mind before, you had various different thoughts about various different things, alternating between emotions and feelings, a lot more complex. So why could this mind before not stand in the face of depression? how could depression take you over, your mind over, your body over to such an extent? And this is what we're going to be having a look at. So, I mean, it's interesting in relation to depression and the force of emotional energy especially, because your emotional energy is the negative energy, is a lot more intense and substantial than your feeling energy. I mean, for those of you who have been in depression or is in depression now, it's like you cannot find any good feelings inside yourself or positive feelings. It's like it's just gone. It just doesn't exist. And this is actually one of the most scariest things, if you will, for many who are experiencing depression. Scary meaning that it's like you're completely lost and you can't find anything of yourself before inside of you anymore. It's like completely taken over. So is it that you need to find who you were before, or is it that there's actually a part of you inside all of this that you need to discover and realize and connect with? That from there you can stand up and create a completely new mind, and so a new self. All right, so this is the process that we're going to be having a look at, because many within depression essentially go and try and look for, but where's my thoughts as they were before? Where's my feelings? Where is anything good or positive inside myself? But the problem is, you're not going to find any of it as long as you're trying to look at it through the eyes of depression, right? So the first step is going to be to assist and support yourself to release this depression experience within you, and from there connect with a part of you inside yourself that you can recognize again. That's that experience of that breath of life coming back into you. And it's interesting because you've always had that part of you. You've always, to a certain extent or degree, been connected to it before you went into depression, but you didn't really recognize it, see it, or even realize it. So through depression, you can actually connect to a part of yourself that you have actually not even connected with when your mind was in the normal state of thinking and emotions and feelings. Why do I say that? It's because you've never actually really had an awareness of your mind, of your thoughts, of your emotions and your feelings. So this is actually quite a process that you can walk in, assisting and supporting yourself to once and for all be aware of the effect that emotions can have on your thoughts, on your experience, on your state of being. I mean, you didn't realize it before because it seemed like, your thoughts and emotions and feelings were kind of regulating themselves, doing their own thing. You didn't need to do anything. Thoughts would come up, you'd have an emotional experience, you had some feelings, there was always like this constant movement and constant balance. But now, oopsie, something happened and there's no more a balance between that positive and negative. And you're in a constant state of only a negative in emotions. And this is also what contributes to depression quite extensively, because you've always been moved around in the polarities of the positive and the negative. There was a healthy balance, and suddenly that balance collapsed. Now, because you don't understand your own emotions, you're kind of at the mercy of your own emotions and your own thoughts, right? So now that you understand a bit more in relation to the mind before, the mind after, how through depression you actually create a new mind, but more importantly, how you can assist and support yourself to create a completely new mind where your real self is the center point, your real utmost potential in the expression and experience of you. And that we will continue with in the next interview. Thank you very much.